Hi, guys, and welcome back to the studio sessions. My name is Brooke, and every week we talk about movies, what we love about movies, movies we love, movies we don't necessarily love, and why we don't necessarily love them. And lately, I've been able to talk a lot about making movies and share behind the scenes for you guys on making my current project that is in development. So I hope you're in the mood for a good movie discussion. I always start the episodes with studio notes, and sometimes things happen that make me adjust them. And this week is one of those weeks because our studio note for this week is the death of Hayden Panettiere. This one has really hit me. Like, there have been other actors that their death has really hit me. Robin Williams was a big one for me. I'm a huge Robin Williams fan, and I just was so devastated when I heard that he had died. It made me so sad. It always makes me sad in certain ways when I watch his movies because of that, just because it's still crazy to me that he died so young. And just that whole scenario around his death was so sad. And I was really sad to miss out on him. That would not be something we would have in the world anymore because he was incredibly talented and made some of my absolute favorite movies ever. And this is another one that's actually hit me quite hard in a multitude of ways. I'm a millennial. So I grew up watching a lot of Hayden Panettiere's big beginning movies. Remember the Titans, Ice Princess, Bring It On. I grew up watching those and I love them. And I love her. I did also watch her in Heroes. And I did really, really love her character in Scream 4, Kirby, which she also played in Scream 6. So I have always loved Hayden Panettiere. And I think because me and her, the same generation, I grew up watching her, there's a certain level of connection there that it feels crazy that someone that is a year and a half older than me has died, especially under the really horrible circumstances that she's died under. Nothing has been confirmed, but we know she went into cardiac arrest and was unresponsive. I'll go a little bit into that, but just that is horrible. Whatever caused the cardiac arrest has yet to be confirmed. I don't want to speak on it until it's officially confirmed. There's lots of reporting and speculation happening about what people are kind of assuming is the case. And while I can't say that they're not probably right, I don't want to say it until it's confirmed. So, just for that fact, I'm not going to go beyond that. But what I do know, what has been reported in several different outlets, is there was a 911 call calling for help to her apartment in South Carolina where she was unresponsive. It has been confirmed just earlier today from me recording this that her boyfriend and his brother were there with her when she went into cardiac arrest. They were there at the scene. They spoke with paramedics, spoke with the EMTs, and after a long attempt for life-saving measures, uh, they were unsuccessful in resuscitating her, and they pronounced her dead. And so now we've had initial autopsy results. There has not been any confirmation about toxicology, which is why I'm not going to speak about anything. There has not been any official cause of death released, only little snippets of details surrounding the death. No official cause, no toxicology report yet. Toxicology can take time, so it's not surprising it'll take a few days after to actually have those results and get them reported and released to the public and there be an official cause of death. So, just that is scary. Somebody going into cardiac arrest is terrifying. Somebody so young. And I think part of why people are getting really hit hard with Hayden Panettiere's death is one, we are the generation that grew up with her. We watched her hit Ice Princess. And Michelle Trachtenberg, who died not that long ago. So she's ours. She's our generation. And she had just released a book, a memoir, that gave a massive insight into struggles she had had, both in the industry, mental health wise, addiction, so many different facets of her life that she was so honest about and was really, really, really trying to move forward, to better things, to use her experiences to help people. She also went deep into her experiences with postpartum depression, and that has been a big thing in the media right now. Um, but I think she seemed like she was really, really trying to just move beyond that in a very healing way. And so it is very, very sad that so quickly she's gone, whatever the cause that may be. We really still don't know. But just in general, that's just horrible. It's very sad. And I think a lot of people are just really, really struck by how sudden it was and how young she is. Nobody would have expected this. I just did want to acknowledge that loss. I wanted to I wanted to acknowledge it and give a little bit of my favorite movies that she's been in. I used to watch Remember the Titans all the time, and I thought she was so cute and so funny in that movie. And I love the Bring It On franchise. I loved Ice Princess. Eh, she was in some really good things. And I think I mentioned before how her monologue in Scream 4 just stream of conscience listing every scary movie she could think of was incredible and extremely relatable for me because I feel like I could do that too and I would just go on and on and on and on and on just thinking of all of the movies. And I loved that about that character that she played. So I really related to her character in that. So it did hit me. I think her being so young That was that was shocking. And I think that's something that is a whole other conversation, but yeah. So I wanted to dedicate the studio notes time to that. If you have your favorite Hayden Panettiere movie, leave it in the comments below. I am, of course, so, so sad for her daughter and her family. It's just awful. So I wanted to take this time to acknowledge all of that. And that is this week's studio notes. I talk about loving movies every week, about how much I love movies, how many different movies I love. And I thought it would be really fun to acknowledge some of the specific things that I love about movies and different aspects of them that make us love movies and make me love movies. And one of those is, and the big one for me, is movie quotes. Some of my favorite movies I quote all the time. And just those quotes live rent free in my head forever and ever. A good one liner in a movie is incredible, invaluable for the experience of watching it and having that moment. Also, I think for me, there's just something so fun about it and kind of witty if it's done well and really funny. I wanted to share five of my favorite and some of the most quoted movie quotes. So I do have them listed one to five. You will catch me going back and forth on where I would place these in actual rankings. So I'm not committing to where they're placed within the one to five. Just these are five of some of my favorites. And I feel like some of the really famous ones. Not all of them. This is not an exhaustive list. This is only five that I personally love and think about all the time and quote all the time. I can't talk about movie quotes without talking about Forrest Gump. The first movie quote I have on my list is Forrest Gump, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. I I don't know if I did a good Forrest accent there. I wasn't really trying till the end. I had a hard time choosing just one quote from Forrest Gump. So I had to put alongside that, run, Forrest, run. I couldn't talk about Forrest Gump and quote and not mention Run, Forrest, Run. But I felt like both of those have their place. I think just the fact that you can say that and most people will know what you're talking about and know what you're referencing, and the way they use it is so well weaved into the story. It's completely a summary of the character. And it's amazing. So well crafted and really catchy. And so I think that is one that is just a really famous one, but also a really good one. And I had to do both of those quotes from it. So that's the first one I wanted to discuss. I know Forrest Gump in particular has so many different quotable moments. So if you have your favorite Forrest Gump quote and it is not one of those two, leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear them. Let me know your favorite. The next one is from my very favorite movie franchise, Harry Potter. And that is actually, there's again, throughout the whole franchise, there's a ton of different quotes I love. And within the different movies, there's multiple quotes per movie that I love. So this was really hard to put it into one, but I think probably my top one I quote the most and that I just come back to a lot is Mrs. Weasley in the Chamber of Secrets when she does the whole line in the kitchen when they walk in, "Where have you been?" And I mean, I could keep going. "Bed's empty, no note, car gone. You could have died. You could have been seen." I'm doing a horrible accent, but it's one of my favorite Mrs. Weasley lines. And I love it. It's super quoted. I think there's been a big trend bringing that back on social media lately. I think gearing up because people are getting ready for the series and all of that. And it's one of my favorite quotes. Absolutely in my top of movie quotes is that Mrs. Weasley line. The way she delivers it is just so good. And I mean, it's also a summary of the character. Especially if you go to the next line, she's like, "Oh, but Harry, dear, I don't blame you." It's amazing. I love Mrs. Weasley. I love that moment. It's just so well done. So it is one that I always giggle at. I always smile. It is one of my favorites. And I feel like there's a lot of Mrs. Weasley lines that are really good. But that is probably my very top favorite. So I would love to hear yours too. It doesn't have to be Mrs. Weasley. If you have another Harry Potter quote you love, let me know in the comments. I just there's so many good ones from Mrs. Weasley. So that was the one I wanted to mention for that. My third one is from Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. It is the moment where she walks back into the store and says to the women that were very rude to her when she first came there to try to shop. And she has that moment where she walks in and she gets to say the line, "Big mistake, huge." It is such a good moment and so quotable. I love it. And actually, it was really funny. It was in my mind because not only is it a good one, but um, in the Coffee and Turner Syndrome podcast, our other podcast, where we talk all about Turner Syndrome every week, me and Andrea were discussing moments where we felt like we had been underestimated. Somebody had told us that we couldn't do something and we proved them wrong or were wanting to prove them wrong. And she brought that up. She said, "I want to have my Julia Roberts moment where you walk in and you're like, big mistake, huge." And it's just such a good moment and such a good line that I had to put it on my list. I love it. So that was one. Pretty Woman has some other good quotes too, but I feel like that's one of the biggest quotes that gets pulled from that movie. So if you have a different one, let me know. If you love this one in particular, also let me know. And yeah, that's the one I wanted to pull next. The next one is from Die Hard, and it is "Yippee-ki-yay." And I'm not going to finish that line because I try to keep this listenable no matter where you are. So I don't want to say the curse words, but "Yippee-ki-yay." And that whole moment, not only is the moment it happens really good, but there's several times of it being used that are such good callbacks. Such good callbacks to the previous time it was used in the movie. It's used several times throughout that movie, back and forth between him and Hans. There's so much repetition of that line. But the callback, the reference is done really, really well. And it's a very good use of it. So not only is it a funny quip, especially in the context of the characters where Alan Rickman's character, who is Eastern European, I can't remember if it's Russian or not, but he's Eastern European. And Bruce Willis, who is this typical American guy, and he calls him, Alan Rickman's character calls him a cowboy. And he says, well, yippee-ki-yay. It is so good, and then just is perfect setup for the reference to it later. I love it. It's great. So I wanted to put that on here too. And my final one. This is from The Truman Show. And it is in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Because by the end of that movie, that is so stuck in your head, but it isn't annoying. It is such an endearing quote from Truman. I, I love it. It's funny. It's very character driven and used really, really well. And for the amount of times he says it, you would think it would start to get the novelty would start to run off. It doesn't. It actually works really, really well. So I really love that quote. The good morning, good afternoon, and good night. So that was the 5 that I have on my list. Those were the movie quotes I love. I do want to take a moment to say movie quotes, I feel like, create such special moments with movies. And I think that's why I love them so much. They give you a little piece of the film to take with you because they're so quotable. They're so wrapped in a neat little package that you can just enjoy. And I love it. It makes it so fun. It makes it so memorable. And when used really well, can really give you a really fun watching experience. And then make such a great callback to that moment when you quote it. You start remembering that scene and it brings it all back. And that's why we laugh. We appreciate it and it's fun. So, yeah. If I have not listed your favorite movie quote, I would love to hear other movie quotes you guys love in the comments below. So leave them there. And I hope you enjoyed this. It was really fun for me to think through some of my favorite movie quotes. I literally do quote movies all the time. So I love movie quotes and I appreciated sharing some of my favorite. I do also want to say thank you guys for your support of my new project I'm working on and coming along with me on the journey as I've been able to share some behind the scenes. If you have not seen my first film, Like a Butterfly, you can find the link to it in the show notes and check it out. And I hope you enjoy it. And maybe find a good quote from that too. Tune in next week for more movie talk, and I will see you guys then. Bye! The Studio Sessions is a Butterfly Entertainment production. You can keep up with all of our podcasts, YouTube videos, films, and other projects on our Instagram page. We are at Butterfly Entertainment Group. Thanks for listening.